Well, welcome back to Not So Mid-Major, where we are still continuing to analyze every single NHL team between now until NHL Draft Day. We are trying to get super caught up with all these different ones, so there's going to be multiple videos posted each day between now until NHL Draft Day, just so we can make all these videos in time for that day. So if you're enjoying these videos, please hit like. Also, please hit subscribe. It's been absolutely bonkers to me that you guys want to watch these videos, and I'm having a lot of fun doing that. So let's get right into this video talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, what do the Toronto Maple Leafs have this year? Well, they've basically traded away a lot of their own picks. They do not have any of their own first to fourth round picks. They kept their fifth and sixth round, traded away their seventh, and in the process gained a Boston Bruins first round pick. So then, as always, we're going to go round by round. What did they trade away? What did they receive in return? Well, in that first round, there was a trade with the St. Louis Blues and Minnesota Wild back on February 17th of 2023, in which the Toronto Maple Leafs received Ryan O'Reilly. 50% of his contract salary was maintained. Josh Pilar, the signing rights to him, and Noel Osiari. St. Louis Blues receiving Adam Gaudette, Mikhail Abramov, a 2023 first-round pick, that is the Toronto Maple Leafs, a 2023 third-round pick, that's the Ottawa Senators, and a 2024 second-round pick, that is the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Minnesota Wild just participating in this as well, receiving 50% of Ryan O'Reilly's salary for more cap space, and a 2025 fourth-round pick, that is also the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I want to touch base on that 2023 third round pick. How did the Toronto Maple Leafs receive the Ottawa Senators pick that they then traded to the St. Louis Blues? Well, that was a trade involving Matt Murray as well as future considerations. Please go watch the Ottawa Senators video for that, because that absolutely blows my mind whenever I hear future considerations in terms of any draft picks. So Mikhail Abramov, drafted in the fourth round by the Toronto Maple Leafs back in 2019, with the Toronto Marlies and AHL team, played 100 games, 13 goals, 31 assists for 44 points, with the Thunderbirds so far right now, 21 games, 5 goals, 3 assists. So then now Adam Gaudette. Well, he was drafted in the fifth round in 2015 by the Vancouver Canucks. He was then traded to the Chicago Blackhawks in 2021, then put on waivers, claimed off waivers by the Ottawa Senators in 2021. With the Canucks, played 153 games, 21 goals, 31 assists for 52 points. Chicago Blackhawks, just 15 games, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points. Ottawa Senators, 50 games, 4 goals, 8 assists, and 12 points. He then signed a one-year deal with the Toronto Maple Leafs, but just more stayed in the AHL with the Toronto Marlies. 40 games, 20 goals, 14 assists, 34 points. And then now currently with the Thunderbirds, an AHL affiliate with the St. Louis Blues. 25 games, 7 goals, 10 assists. So what did the Toronto Maple Leafs receive? Let's first start off with Josh Pilar, who's only been staying in the WHL so far. The Kamloops Blazers, 183 games, 43 goals, 83 assists, and 126 points. With the Saskatoon Blades, 45 games, 9 goals, 14 assists, and 23 points. And now Noel Osiari. He was undrafted and signed with the Bruins back in 2015, and then he was a free agent signing with the Panthers, and then a free agent signing with the Blues. With the Bruins, played 180 games, 18 goals, 13 assists for 31 points, 505 hits. With the Panthers, 127 games, 27 goals, 19 assists, 182 blocks, 260 hits. The St. Louis Blues, 54 games, 10 goals, 8 assists, 168 hits. And the Toronto Maple Leafs, just 23 games, 4 goals, 1 assist, and 76 hits. And now Ryan O'Reilly. Well, he was drafted in the second round in 2009 by the Colorado Avalanche. After the Avs, he was traded to the Sabres and then traded to the Blues. With the Avalanche, played 427 games, 90 goals, 156 assists. With the Sabres, 224 games, 65 goals, 111 assists. With the Blues, 327 games, 97 goals, 172 assists. And Toronto Maple Leafs currently right now, 13 games, 4 goals, 7 assists. Alright, so still sticking in the first round, how did the Toronto Maple Leafs gain that Boston Bruins first round pick? Well, there was a trade actually made with the Washington Capitals back on February 28th of 2023, in which the Washington Capitals received Rasmus Sandin, Toronto Maple Leafs receiving Eric Gustafsson, and that 2023 first round pick of the Boston Bruins. So Washington Capitals receiving Rasmus Sandin. He was drafted in the first round in 2018 by the Toronto Maple Leafs. With the Leafs, played 4 years, 140 games, 10 goals, 38 assists, 48 points. With the Washington Capitals, 19 games, 3 goals, 12 assists for 15 points. And now I kind of want to briefly touch base on that first round pick that the Capitals got from the Boston Bruins. That was a long three-way trade dealing between the Bruins, Capitals, and Minnesota Wild. So let's talk about Eric Gustafsson. Eric Gustafsson was drafted in 2012 by the Edmonton Oilers in the 4th round. He stayed in the SHL and his contract expired. Then he went to a free agent signing with the Chicago Blackhawks in 2015. He was then traded to the Calgary Flames in 2020, then free agent signing with the Flyers just shortly after that, then traded to the Canadiens in 2021, re-signed with the Chicago Blackhawks in 2021, then signed free agency with the Washington Capitals in 2022. He actually, fun fact, scored his first career hat trick against the Toronto Maple Leafs. His total NHL career, 379 games, 39 goals, 152 assists, and 191 points. So then now on to the second round, where there's a trade between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Seattle Kraken back on March 20th of 2022, in which the Seattle Kraken received a 2022 second round pick, 2023 second round pick, and a 2024 third round pick, all of which are the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto Maple Leafs receiving Mark Giordano, 50% of his contract salary was maintained, and Colin Blackwell. So with that 2022 second round pick, Seattle Kraken decided to select Nicholas Kakko, who in the Finnish Hockey League has played 8 games, 2.98 goals against average, and 903 save percentage. And now Toronto Maple Leafs receiving Colin Blackwell. He was drafted in the 7th round in 2011 by the San Jose Sharks, didn't stay with the team, and then participated in the Buffalo Sabres rookie camp. He actually then signed with the Nashville Predators in 2018, then free agent signing with the New York Rangers, and then selected by the Seattle Kraken in the 2021 expansion draft. With the Kraken played 39 games, 8 goals, 9 assists for 17 points and 57 hits. With the Toronto Maple Leafs, 19 games, 2 goals, 1 assist, 34 hits. It is important to note that after this, he actually then went on to free agent signing with the Chicago Blackhawks. Currently with the Blackhawks, 53 games, 2 goals, 8 assists, 10 points, and 49 hits. And now the captain, or I should actually say the former captain of the Seattle Kraken, Mark Giordano, undrafted and signed with the Calgary Flames in 2004. With the Flames, played 15 years, 949 games, second most in franchise, 143 goals, 366 assists, 6 in franchise, 509 points, 9th most in franchise, 1,746 blocks, and 1,013 hits. He was then selected by the Seattle Kraken in the 2021 expansion draft and then named their captain. Seattle Kraken played 55 games, 6 goals, 17 assists, 23 points, 98 blocks, 46 hits. With the Toronto Maple Leafs, 98 games, 6 goals, 30 assists, 36 points, 188 blocks, and 89 hits. And I talked about this in the Kraken video, but please let me know, what do you think down below of trading away your first ever captain who didn't even play with you for a full season? It was just, 55 games? That is insane, and then you just decided to trade him away, but maybe they're looking at something with these picks, but who knows? We'll see what they do and select. And now into the third round. There was a trade with the Vancouver Canucks back on February 19th of 2022, where the Vancouver Canucks received Toronto Maple Leafs 2023 third round pick, and Toronto Maple Leafs receiving Luke Schenn. Luke Schenn, drafted in 2008 in the first round by, actually, the Toronto Maple Leafs. From then until now, played with the Leafs, then the Flyers, Kings, Coyotes, Ducks, Canucks, Lightning, then back to the Canucks, and now back to the Toronto Maple Leafs. He was involved in trades involving James Van Riemsdyk, Vince LeCavalier, and Michael Del Zotto. His total NHL career has 933 games, 42 goals, 149 assists, 1,434 blocks, 3,156 hits, which is 6th all-time and first amongst defensemen. So now we got a lot of fun ones out of the way. Let's just get a boring one out of the way. There's a trade with the Nashville Predators on July 8th of 2022, in which the Predators and Maple Leafs just flip 4th round picks. Predators will select for the Maple Leafs this year in 2023 in the 4th round. Maple Leafs selecting for the Nashville Predators last year in 2022. With that 2022 4th round pick, the Maple Leafs decided to select Denise Hiddleby, who in the SHL has played 28 games, has a 14-11-0 record, 2.19 goals against average, 921 save percentage. And now on to a little bit of a fun one. For the 7th round, there was a trade with the Pittsburgh Penguins back on July 17th of 2021, in which the Pittsburgh Penguins received Philip Hollander and a 2023 7th round pick, that is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto Maple Leafs receiving Jared McCann. Philip Hollander, drafted in the 2nd round in 2018 by the Pittsburgh Penguins. He was then traded to the Leafs in 2020, and then with this trade, traded back to the Penguins. NHL experience, just 3 games. Has more AHL experience, 2 years, 104 games, 25 goals, 36 assists, and 61 points. In the SHL, 3 years, 123 games, 25 goals, 34 assists, and 59 points. He actually recently opted to not sign an NHL contract with any teams and returned to the SHL and signed a 5-year deal over there. Jared McCann for the Toronto Maple Leafs, drafted in the first round in 2014 by the Vancouver Canucks. He was then traded to the Florida Panthers and then traded to the Pittsburgh Penguins. With the Penguins, played 3 years, 141 games, 39 goals, 45 assists, and 84 points. He was then actually selected by the Seattle Kraken, which was actually expected by both teams, in the 2021 expansion draft. With the Seattle Kraken, 2 years, 153 games, 67 goals, 53 assists, and 120 points. And that is it for this one. So I'm just going to leave it there. Best of luck, Toronto. I hope you continue to make the second round, but I always kind of like the jokes of you not being able to make it past the first round. So let me know what you think down below. Is Toronto Maple Leafs going to continue on this streak of trying to make it past the first round? But until next time, please hit like, please hit subscribe. I'm going to be talking about every single NHL team between now until NHL draft day, posting multiple videos a day, probably 2 after this one. Until NHL draft day, because that's coming up very fast, very soon. So until next time, please hit like, please hit subscribe, and until next time, please stay safe and please stay healthy.